Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. Today in this short lecture, we are going to cover a very basic part of chemical kinetics chapter, that is rate of a chemical reaction. तो इस लेक्चर में हम जानेंगे कि कोई भी केमिकल रिएक्शन जब होता है तब उसका रेट क्या होता है और स्पीड क्या होता है, और रिएक्शन का रेट और स्पीड हम कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे, उसका फॉर्मूला क्या है, यूनिट क्या है, ये सब हम जानेंगे इस लेक्चर में. इट इज़ वेरी बेसिक पार्ट ऑफ केमिकल काइनेटिक्स, सो प्लीज लिसन वेरी केयरफुली. पहले मान लीजिए कि एक केमिकल रिएक्शन हो रहा है. मान लीजिए कि रिएक्शन इज फ्रॉम ए टू बी. नाउ यू सी हियर A is our reactant and B is our product. It is the very basic example of any chemical reaction. Reactant converts into product. Now, in the process of this chemical reaction, क्या होता है एक्चुअली? अगर हम मॉलिक्यूलर बेसिस पे जाके देखें, the molecules of reactant A or the bonds between the molecules of reactant A is breaking down. reactant A का जो bonds है, जो chemical bonds है, वो break कर जाता है and they rearrange themselves and new bonds will be formed to produce the new product B. So A molecule का chemical bonds break होके नया बॉन्ड बनाता है जो प्रोड्यूस करता है न्यू मॉलिक्यूल बी. सो इट इज द बेसिस ऑफ एनी केमिकल रिएक्शन. अब देखिए हम यहां से कैसे रेट ऑफ केमिकल रिएक्शन और स्पीड ऑफ केमिकल रिएक्शन को निकालते हैं. तो चलिए मान लीजिए कि एट टाइम t इक्वल्स टू 0, दैट मीन्स व्हेन द रिएक्शन हैज नॉट बीन स्टार्टेड, द वेरी इनिशियल टाइम t इक्वल टू 0. मान लीजिए कंसेंट्रेशन ऑफ ए, कंसेंट्रेशन ऑफ रिएक्टेंट ए, दैट इज, इसे हम इस तरह थर्ड ब्रैकेट में डिनोट करते हैं. कोई भी कंसेंट्रेशन को केमिस्ट्री में थर्ड ब्रैकेट में हम डिनोट करते हैं. थर्ड ब्रैकेट अंदर ए, it means that concentration of A at time t equal to 0, मान लेते हैं, was C1. and बताइए कि at time t equal to 0 concentration of B क्या होगा, concentration of B क्या होगा? very easy है. at time t equal to 0 the reaction has not been started, ये शुरू ही नहीं हुआ था, तो प्रोडक्ट कैसे बनेगा? तो concentration of B at time t equal to 0 is just 0. No product was formed at the initial phase. अब मान लेते हैं कि टाइम t equals to t. t टाइम के बाद हम रिएक्टेंट और प्रोडक्ट का कॉन्सेंट्रेशन देखते हैं. चलिए अब हम देखें कि t equal to t concentration of A is has become C2. concentration of A has become C2 after T time. और हमें पता है कि रिएक्टेंट से प्रोडक्ट हो रहा है. That means reactant, the concentration of reactant will decrease with time. जितना टाइम आगे जाएगा concentration of reactant कमेगा, घट जाएगा, और concentration of product will increase. That means C2 must be less than C1. C2 C1 से कम होगा क्योंकि after time t some reactant will be converted into product. So C2 must be less than C1. Now you see what will be the concentration of B after time t. Very easy. A का कंसेंट्रेशन जितना घटा है B का कंसेंट्रेशन ठीक उतना ही बढ़ेगा. What have I told? The concentration of A that has decreased due to the reaction due to the reaction concentration of A has decreased, the same amount of concentration B will be produced after time t. So what will be the concentration of B? Concentration of B equal to the concentration of A that has been decreased. So अब बताइए A का क्या concentration घटा है? पहले था C1, अब हो गया है C2, and we know C1 is greater than C2. So पहले था C1, अब हो गया है C2. So initial was C1, अब है C2. So this amount of A has been decreased, C1 minus C2, and that is the concentration of B after time t. So it is very easy. Please see very carefully. So this is the case of any basic chemical reaction. At time t equal to 0, concentration of A is C1 and concentration of product is 0. At time t equal to t, concentration of A has become C2. We have assumed that, and concentration of B is C1 minus C2. Now we will see what is the rate of a chemical reaction or what is the speed of a chemical reaction. तो चलिए ये वैल्यूज दिमाग में रखकर हम जान लेते हैं कि रेट ऑफ अ केमिकल रिएक्शन होता क्या है. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर, रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन is equals to the change in concentration of the reactants or products of any chemical reaction divided by the time required for the change. So it is very, very easy. Now you see, rate of a reaction means the change in concentration of the reactants or products by the time required for the change. That is the rate or speed of a chemical reaction. अब इस रिएक्शन के लिए हम लोग देखते हैं कि रेट क्या होता है. ये पहले हम रिएक्टेंट्स के लिए देखते हैं. सो ये पार्ट है रिएक्टेंट्स के लिए और ये वाला पार्ट है प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए. सो दैट मीन्स with respect to reactants what will be the rate, and with respect to product what will be the rate. Now you see, for the reactant A in this reaction, the rate of reaction will be final concentration minus initial concentration by final time minus initial time. That is, we have got from the formula itself. The change in concentration means final concentration minus initial concentration, and the time required, that is final time t minus initial time 0. That is the time required for the change. Now you see, we will put the values and get the answer. So final concentration is, for A it is C2, initial concentration is C1, final time is t, and initial time is 0. So from here we have got the rate of chemical reaction with view to the reactants is C2 minus C1 by T. Change in concentration of the reactants by the time required. And similarly we see for the product, the formula will be same. Final concentration minus initial concentration by final time minus initial time. Now you put the values similarly. So final concentration of product B is C1 minus C2 and initial concentration is 0. final time is t, initial time is 0. Now you see what we have got. Here we have got C1 minus C2 by T. So that is the formula for rate of reaction of product. Change in concentration in product by time itself. So what we can write from here? देखिए, the rate of reaction for reactants is just equal to the minus of rate of reaction for the product. You see, if we put a minus sign here, we will get that for reactants and product, the rate of reaction is just same. Only a minus sign will be there in front of for the reactant part. Now, a very important thing you have to remember. बहुत ही ज़रूरी बात है. Please remember that rate of any chemical reaction can never be negative. Rate of any chemical reaction will always be positive. Now you can question me that here we can see a negative sign, sir. So how can here the rate of reaction is positive? आपने बताया कि rate of reaction will always be positive. But here we can see for reactants a negative sign is there. So how can it be positive? Now you see, in any chemical reaction, the concentration of reactants will be decreased. Concentration of reactant धीरे धीरे घट जाएगा. So the minus sign is only for that. Minus sign हमें ये बताता है कि concentration will be decreased gradually for reactants. This minus sign is not for any value. Value will always be positive for any rate of chemical reaction, that may be for reactants, that may be for product. But the minus sign for reactants indicates that with time the concentration of reactant will decrease. The indication is denoted by minus sign. This is not for any value. So please remember, the rate of a chemical reaction will be change in concentration by change in time. Here also the same, change in concentration by change in time. But here for reactants we will put a negative sign which will denote that reactant concentration decreases gradually with time. So this is the idea for rate of chemical reaction or speed of chemical reaction. Now we will see for the unit. इसका unit क्या होगा? So rate is a physical quantity, so it must have a unit. So चलिए देख लेते हैं. So the unit of chemical reaction rate, unit of rate of reaction will be, now we will put the units of the individual. We will put unit of concentration above, and we will put the unit of time in numerator. Then we will get the unit very easily. So what is the concentration unit? What is the unit for concentration? Very easy, mole per liter. And what is the unit of time? That is second. See what we have got? We have got the unit of rate of reaction, that is mole liter inverse second inverse. So it is the unit of rate of reaction. Now you see, if for any reaction rate the time is given in minute or hour, मान लीजिए कि सेकेंड में टाइम नहीं दिया गया, मिनट में दिया गया है और आवर में दिया गया है, then what will be the unit? Similarly, then the unit will be for minute, the unit will be mole per liter minute inverse, and for hour the unit will be mole per liter hour inverse. So it is very easy. Concentration, the unit of concentration is mole per liter, and you will put the unit of time according to the reaction, according to the chemical reaction. Now we have completed the idea of rate of any chemical reaction and its unit. Please remember the most important thing, that rate of a chemical reaction can never be negative. It is always a positive physical quantity. Chemical reaction ka rate is always been a positive physical quantity. So that's for today's class. On the next class we will see that chemical reaction rate can be divided into two types. One is the average rate of reaction and another is the instantaneous rate of reaction. So please stay tuned for the next lecture. Thank you all.